The Subanen are known as the people of the mountains. They walk far to get to their farms or nearby villages, even over steep hills and through streams. They leave early at dawn because they don't want to be out when it gets dark. The roads aren't safe for regular people, and scary creatures come out at night. One of these creatures is called the Balangayaw. It looks like a man with barefooted, wearing all black and a red cloth around its head. It carries a big knife wrapped in red and is often seen by rivers. It's very fast and has bright red eyes. When it catches someone, it cuts off all their fingers before killing them. It leaves the body behind but takes the fingers and blood. Many people say they've seen it and got away because they had special charms from a Balian, someone who heals people and knows about spirits. There's a scary story about a family that lived in a far-off place called Barangay Diampak, where houses were spread out and there weren't many people around. Long ago, the very first family to settle in this area lived a simple life, but it was filled with joy. There was Linginan and Esmila and their 3 children, 16-year-old Unjan, 8-year-old Tuto, and little Idang, who was just 8 months old, making their living as hard-working farmers and rubber tappers. The couple would leave at dawn each day, Linginan heading off to tap rubber, Esmila tending to their crops, returning late in the afternoon. While they were gone, Unjan took charge. She cooked, cleaned, and cared for baby Idang, while Tuto fetched water from a spring far away. One morning, as the couple got ready to leave, Esmila gave the children strict instructions. Lock the door by afternoon and don't let anyone inside, since they'd be late harvesting crops. Linginan added a gentle but serious warning too. Be careful of strangers, and tell any visitors to wait for their return. The children nodded in agreement, and soon the house was quiet. Unjan told Tuto to fetch water early, but that day El Niño had dried up the spring, making his task take much longer than usual. Back at home, Unjan was rocking Idang when she heard knocks coming and going. She called out thinking it was Tuto, but got no answer. Only more knocking and the sound of heavy, fast breathing outside. Feeling nervous, she shouted that she couldn't let anyone in until her parents came home. For a moment, the footsteps faded and she felt a little relieved, until they came back, louder and closer than before. Then a voice begged, "Hey, open up, it's so hot out here." It sounded just like Tuto. Even with Idang crying loudly in the hammock, Unjan hurried to unlock the door. But instead of her brother, she came face to face with a man holding a huge machete, his eyes glowing bright red. She froze, too terrified to scream or even move. Not far away, Tuto was finally heading home when he heard a piercing scream from inside the house. He dropped his water gallons and ran, peering through the open door to see the man attack Unjan. Trembling so hard, he could barely stand. He hid in the tall grass, listening as Idang's endless wails slowly fell silent. When the heavy footsteps finally left, he didn't hesitate. He ran through sharp grass and down slopes.
Ina! Ama! Tapang nga mo tinig baklong si Unjan Nubala ngayon!
He cried out hoarsely. Shocked, Linginan and Esmila dropped their work, grabbed their machetes, and rushed home. their exhaustion forgotten in their fear. But when they arrived, what they saw broke their hearts. Unjan lay in a pool of blood, and in swinging hammock, little Idang lay lifeless. Overwhelmed with grief and rage, Linginan vowed to find justice. The next day, they buried their children right under their home. For a year, Linginan hunted the Balangayaw through the forests, but it always slipped away. Grief weighed heavy on them, and every corner of their home reminded them of their loss. So eventually, they packed up and moved away. Their story didn't fade. It stayed close to the hearts of the Subanen tribe, passed down through generations as a warning. The things we sometimes dismiss as myths aren't just make-believe. They are real, and they can strike when we least expect them.